All right, MrSotko here, and welcome back to another Starcraft 2 replay cast. And now it is game number 4 of 7 in the Dreamhack 2015 Winter Grand Finals. And it is on Leralac Crest. And we have our blue Zerg player Solar and our red Protoss player PartinG. And PartinG took game number 1 and 2, and Solar took the last game, game number 3. And this is Leralac Crest. So we have 4 ways of spawning, but it looks like they found each other right off the bat and scouted each other right off the bat. So that wasn't too hard at all. And it is not going to be a cross-spawn situation. It's going to be all the way across the map there. And we have 2 gateways coming up here. The Zealot on the way very quickly this time around, and holding that center just in case that rush comes again. Queen coming down to deal with this pylon, and the drone and the Zergling trying to take care of it too. And that's going to slow. It's going to slow him down just a bit there with some clever Protoss pylon play. Been around since the dawn of Starcraft 2. Well, Starcraft 1 in a sense too. Always a classic move. And now these Zerglings are out and about, heading towards the Protoss base. Already has metabolic boost. And going to notice that he's not going to be able to get in. There's an Adept behind the Zealot. And so that is simply just not going to happen. He's going to do try a little bit, but nope. Just going to try and see what's going on in there. We have a Stargate coming, and I'm not sure if Solar spotted that or not. Maybe he probably did spot that. That is a little bit close to the edge. Could have put that a little bit further in to hide that a little bit better. Pylon coming down right here to block the area a little bit more, and now the Zealot's going to stand there for a little bit. Second hatchery coming out. And now putting some Spore Crawlers down. It's going to be a Spore Crawler coming down at this hatchery as soon as possible as well. Did spot that Stargate, so definitely knows that there's an Oracle coming. And now we have multiple Adepts on the way here. Warp Gate about 3/4 the way done. And now, right now, Solar is just simply playing the economic game. He's just going to be transferring Maynarding drones over. He has 23 out of 16 over here. And we'll be putting them over pretty soon. The Oracle now on the way, but there is that Spore Crawler there. And no Queen up here, though. It's going to be out probably just as it gets there, though. So that is definitely fortunate for Solar. And going to notice going to get hit by the Queen and the Spore Crawler here. Is going to try and get himself a drone kill. Got himself a couple, 3 drone kills by the looks of it. And now that Oracle is definitely going to be bailing out of there. 19 out of 100 health left, so nearly died. The Spore Crawler is up at the expansion, and another Spore Crawler I suspect will be coming very, very quickly over there to defend from that Oracle. That Oracle will be out of play for a short while as it's so low on health. It's going to have to regenerate those shields a little bit, but look at that. It's already regenerated. So now it's going to be going all the way over here to this expansion. But again, that Spore Crawler coming up right away. And Zergling's now moving across the map and just getting some scouting information. Probably seeing that Oracle there. And in the production here, we have that Nexus almost completed it. And there it goes. And now can Maynard some of those probes on over there. And here comes a few of them. Now a second Oracle out on the map here, and this can actually do some pretty big damage to these drones, but again, taking quite a bit of damage from these Spore Crawlers every time he comes around. And there he goes, gets a few more drones. Now the Zerg losing quite a bit of economic power. Now at 468 lost to just 100 for the Protoss. Units now, we have a Stalker, a couple of those Oracles still flying around. 3 Adepts and that Zealot all up defending the base there. Roach Warren on the way for the Zerg. And a Robotics Bay coming out for the Protoss. And where is that Robotics Bay? I've stuck it all the way back up here. More Adepts now being warped in here. Total of 5 total Adepts there. And Zergling and 5 Adepts versus the Zerglings, or a Zealot and 5 Adepts versus the Zerglings, rather. And now Zergling's going to get inside the Protoss base here, going to get some kills, perhaps. And gonna overcharge all kinds of those pylons. So much overcharging. That annihilated those Zerglings. That was pretty amazing. But also did use up quite a bit of energy. But he had plenty to spare, I suppose. And that annihilated them Zerglings very, very fast. I was surprised how quickly they died. And now gonna try and ghost on out of there, but not gonna happen. Gonna lose some of them. And there they go. Looks like he lost 2 there. Now Zerg losing a 943 resources to 450, so Zerg starting to catch up just a little bit here. And now the Oracle is going to blast away those Zerglings, going to force them out of there. And not all that low on energy. Could go after these roaches here. You're going to make a stasis ward there. In case those roaches come up that way, they would be in a pretty bad position. Another stasis ward coming down here. So 2 in a row, and could definitely use the stasis ward in the back here, as he seems to be going around there quite a bit as the alternative method to getting in his enemy's base there. Observer spotting everything going on. And back to the production tab, we have level 1 ground weapons coming for the Protoss, and Cleo reconstruction or reconstitution for the roaches there. Reading is hard. And we also have a Spire on the way. We have a Disruptor, and I'm not sure, I don't think it got anything at all, but pretty clever there to have a Disruptor. I'd like to see a Disruptor land in the back there, and 2 of them at once, blasting away all the drones. That would be pretty devastating. Here comes the Oracles now. And they're running right over 2 Queens, though, unfortunately, and we'll lose 1 of those Oracles. And now the push is coming here from the Zerg. But again, going to run into a stasis ward, but there isn't too much really to take advantage of this stasis ward. So if they run into that stasis ward, they're just really going to be stunned for a moment, and there's really nothing around to actually do damage once they're stunned. So that's going to be sort of an issue there. And the Oracle trying to get some more kills there. 1,400 lost for the Zerg. And now going to be taking out the rocks here. Those rocks taken out by the Protoss, and then blocked this path. And taking it down pretty quick, will not last too long. Protoss is ready to go. 3 Disruptors here. And I'm going to go after the expansion, and here comes the Protoss to defend, but the Zerg running away already. And created a force field there, just in case it came back. Then those Disruptors could have gotten an easy, some easy hits in that tight section there. Now level 1 ground missile attacks for the Zerg. Ravagers being warped in here. And we have a warp prism with 2 Disruptors. But is completely spotted, and now the Zerg is going to be suspect of that pretty much for the rest of the game. The warp prism looks like it's going to be going around the far way. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. Stasis ward still active there. Another stasis ward being was placed all the way over here. And that warp prism trying to get into the base of the Zerg, but it's just not happening. He knows about it. He knows that it's coming at some point here, and it probably will end up hitting this expansion. But even if he loses those drones, it won't be that big of a deal. He has so many hatcheries on the map that he can just simply draw over a ton of drones to that expansion. But he will lose the larvae time. Now the pylon here under attack. Now going after the photon cannon. And the Zerg push going around the other side. Here comes a Disruptor, and it missed. And those roaches are in stasis at the moment, and may be lost here if he can just surround these roaches. And we'll lose about six roaches here. As soon as they come out of stasis, yeah, indeed, would be a probably better bet to surround them. And there he goes, loses 6 roaches in those invulnerable stasis roaches. And here comes that warp prism, now going to drop those Disruptors. And there it goes after the drones, and lands all over those drones, gets a good number of them. So that was pretty nice indeed. But this area is majoritively mined out anyway, so he wasn't really going to get all that much over there. And now the Lurker down here producing the muscular augments. And And now moving on out across the map. Muscular augments now nearly completed. Lurkers have buried themselves hitting that robotics facility, and battle going on over here too. Some of the units trying to get surrounded, and now the Protoss going to come from this way here, but they're going to run into these lurkers that are buried in the ground already. They now try to go after this Nexus here, and the Zerg catching up quite a bit here in terms of units lost, 5,000 now to about 4,000. And even more lurkers now burying lurkers all the way down here, somehow hitting up there. It doesn't really make all that much sense, but it does work just the same. Disruptors gonna land all over those Ravagers there. And these Stalkers have successfully defended the Protoss base, but he did lose a decent amount of probes in that process. And now chasing down the Zerg a bit here, gonna get himself a couple Overlords, and that's gonna put him under Psy there. Just a quick couple of Overlord call-ins there, brings them right up to maximum supply, and good to go. And some roaches here trying to take down the Nexus, and they took the majority of the shields away. And it is being chrono boosted, so those shields are coming back pretty quickly too. And finishes off all of those roaches, but they were sort of a death force anyway. Rather a suicide force. And now a much longer battle than the first few games of this series. Both sides learning each other a little bit more, and now defending and a little bit better as well. Learning each other's play style. And he has 4 disruptors now. So here comes one disruptor, but that's gonna miss. Not gonna. Oh, actually got one roach there. And now the Zerg force here is going to split off these roaches and go after that Nexus again. And the main Protoss army all the way down here isn't going to be able to make it up there in time. Now got a Stalker warped all over those lurkers, but that was a bad idea there. He took so much damage. There was just every one of those Stalkers is so low on health. He got hit from all different directions, and Nexus has fallen by those roaches. Now the Protoss trying to get around the other side here, but really just sort of blocking himself in. Here comes the Disruptor and gets a couple there. And now some lurkers gonna stall here, and 2 disruptors gonna land all over those lurkers, takes them out, blows them right out of the ground. And additional disruptor there, taking out more. And now he's in fairly dangerous territory here in the Zerg base, as the Zerg can just constantly produce. And now jumps on some of those lurkers again, takes a little bit of damage that time. Disruptor gonna hit lots of roaches there, took out at least 4. PartinG now blinking right into the main section of the Zerg base, gonna go right into the main here, but not too much to lose in there. And now jumps on all over the Zerg again. And Solar GG's out, leaving PartinG the winner of game number 4. I hope you guys enjoyed this replay, and I'll see you guys next time.